as you know, my name is Priyanshi Agrawal, and currently I am in final year of my engineering, and I am from India. And from India, I study in HBTU Kanpur, and I was selected for an open source program, which is Outreachy. I think it was known by most of you present here. And I was selected in the Outreachy in around May, and it was
Please,
really
may I address the speaker?
Okay.
It's
Priyanshi.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think the speaker is kind of breaking, or I don't know, maybe it's something that is
Is my
adjustable.
voice breaking?
Yeah, like the speaker is echoing or something like that. I don't know if it's something that is adjustable.
Mm, is my voice still breaking or is it fine now?
No, no, it's still breaking. It's still breaking.
Oh, I
the
don't.
speaker that she's using.
It's when we due to service connections and stuff like that. I don't know. Is it possible we can rejoin and let's see if it's going to like if there's going to be any change?
Yeah, I will try rejoining because my internet is fine.
Okay, let's. Let's wait. Let's chill. HBTU. Yeah. It's near to my home. There. I've been to that college. There. Hello. Yeah, Priyanshi, can you talk? No, this is probably like voice or something like that.
I don't know why it is slow because I am already connected to Wi-Fi, and if it is still technical issue, I don't know what to do now.
Is this the speak?
Mm.
Are you using headset?
No, no, I'm not using any headsets. I'm using just my laptop mic.
Laptop mic.
Yeah.
I'm very sorry for disturbing you. Is it possible if you can use your phone?
Pardon?
Is it possible if you can join through phone or something like that?
Yeah, let me type in the phone.
Okay, fine. Damn. Hi, Priyanshi.
Hi, is my voice fine now?
Yeah, five,
Okay,
10 out of 10.
cool, cool. Yeah, so where I was, yeah, I was giving my intro. So I was selected for out. Let me start from the beginning.
Exactly.
Myself, Priyanshi Agrawal, and I am from India. I am in final year of my engineering from HBTU Kanpur, and I was selected for an open source program which is Outreachy around May, and which was a very good program in terms of knowledge and in terms of money and in terms of gaining guidance from some mentors and in terms of everything. It was a very good program. And basically, I am also into web development, and I also have knowledge about programming languages like C, C++. Yeah, so these are my some knowledge which I have till now,
Yeah,
using which we contributed to the outreach and got selected.
yeah. Thank you very much for that. So, I mean, see, some of the participants here, they probably like don't understand like when we say open source. I've tried to like explain many times, but like I mean, if you can also like give us like what is open source like? I mean, if you can just help us on that.
Yeah, yeah, sure. So like from before RPG, I was also not open source. Before this, I was open source. I just knew that this term existed, and I just knew a one-liner explanation about open source. Like a open source is like something where you can go and contribute to the various projects. I just know this. Most of the students just know this much about open source. But like basically, what is open source is like there are various organizations that come together and put on various different projects based on different tech stacks. So, according to your tech stack, according to your knowledge, you can select the relevant project and then you can start contributing to that project. Open source is just like a program or a community where anyone from the world can contribute to any project, which is an open source project. It's
Mm-hmm.
just a public organization, you can say, where anyone can contribute to the projects according to their knowledge and tech stacks.
Hmm. Hmm. So I think what I understand from your definition is that so like open source is just like a kind of communities of probably like developers or I mean software developers or engineers or even I mean I think I've seen like some open source projects where it's probably like based on research and stuff where like people come together on a project, they kind of work together on the project. So like as she said, depending on your tech stack, probably you're a web developer, so you look for like communities on okay, what are the web development projects or community that you can contribute to. So you kind of with your tech stack, with what your knowledge, probably HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, so you can actually like contribute to that. You can contribute to that open source project. So if you probably like know C++, I think LLVM is basically based on C++. So you can contribute to C++ and and work on it. And I think as she said, like anyone everywhere, like you can come from Nigeria, from South Africa, from India, from the US, from the Canada, or like all the countries, and like everyone comes, like people working on this open source project, they kind of like come from different places. Thank you for that, Priyanshi. So my next question is like, yeah, like this open source, I don't know if you can give us like some examples of. I think we have already like mentioned some examples of open source like LLVM, right? So, I mean, I don't know if there is some other examples that you can probably like remember right now, like some examples of open source projects. I mean, there are a lot of them, like thousands of them, and I have two questions right now. So, like, can you give like some examples of open source, probably like two to three? Then, like, where do I, if I want to like, okay, I'm a new person to open source, I don't know anything about open source, where do I see open source projects? Like where do I go if I want to like uh work on any open source project?
Pardon, I didn't get your question. Like you are asking, what are like different open source projects or something else?
Exactly. Yeah. So like so it is like two questions. So the first one is that uh can you like give us some like some examples of open source projects that you probably know? And also as a beginner, if I want to like join any open source project, if I want to like start contributing to open source, where do I go?
Okay,
Like what
yeah,
is the platform they use or something like that?
yeah, okay. Like one open source project which I can mention, Alivia, on which I had worked, and one more project I had worked during RPG itself was the Unstructured Studio. Yeah, it was by Unstructured Studio. It was just a platform related to development stacks like React, JS, JavaScript, and all. And Alarium was related to C++. So these two projects I remember right now on which I had worked.
Mm.
And if one wants to contribute to open source projects, so like one very simple way for doing that, you can just go to the GitHub and you can create your profile, and then you can search for various open source projects and you can start contributing. From this you can gain knowledge and experience. But for doing something. There are various open source programs like Outreachy, GSOC is also a program. I don't know if it is for only Indians or for everyone. I don't remember that. And one more program, one more open source program is GSSOC. So there are various open source programs like this where you can register yourself, get selected, contribute and get selected, and you can earn a great amount of money.
Okay, okay. From what I understand that you said right now, is that like we have like lot of open source projects. One which is like LLVM. So I think me personally, I probably like also like got to know like some other open source projects. Something like even Python programming language is an open source project. Node.js is an open source project. React is also an open source project.
Yeah.
Even I think MySQL is also an open source project. So like
Yeah.
there are so a lot of open source projects. And as Priyanshi said, if you're going to like start looking for open source project, the first approach is to create a GitHub account, which is like the basic requirement for everyone here. Like for you to be here, you must have probably like created a GitHub account because that is the requirement for the program. So like the first step is to create your own GitHub account and I mean create a profile on GitHub. So then, as you also said, like there are some open source programs. One of them which is Outreachy. So she was selected for Outreachy. There is GSOC, there is GSOD. I think there is MLH also, which I actually like sent to the group. So the idea of this program is that to actually like bring students or like I mean like or developers, not only students. So like developers, and also like Outreach, GSOC, they're all for everyone. They're all for Nigerians also, like everyone from everywhere. You can work on all those. You can like get selected for the project. So like something like Outreachy, okay, like those are like the programs, like those programs they kind of give applications out and you kind of apply to those programs. Priyansh, if you can just tell us like the details about like outreach, or before going to outreach, like the outreach program. So because I think all of them they are mostly similar. So before going to how you probably like like how does outreach works or something like that. So let me just ask a question so we can come back to this. So the question is, I mean, we are talking about open source. We are talking about open source. Like, what are the benefits of open source? Like, yeah.
Okay. What are the benefits of? After that, your voice.
Yeah, like so like what are the benefits of open source, like open source project and stuff like that.
Yeah, sure. Like while working on an open source project, there might be a skill you know, and there might be a skill that you don't know. But if you start contributing that project, then you can learn that skill. Like basically, while working on an open source project, there is a huge community of that open source project. So you build a community, you talk to different people in that community, you ask for help, you help someone other by your knowledge. So all this great experience you can learn only by contributing in an open source program. I mean, in an open source project, like you can talk to people from different states, different countries, help to them, take help from them. So basically, open source project gives you a really different experience from other projects, according to my knowledge.
Hmm. Yeah, from what I understand that you said about like what are the things that you can get from open source. So like the first one is that if you're learning something like web development or something like that, so you probably like want to practice your skill. You want to like practice like JavaScript or React or something like that. So most of the times you might not be able to like think of a project to work on. So like this open source project, so you can just find one open source project on web development and be able to like contribute to the project. So with that, your skill, your web development skill, you'll be able to like see a place to actually like practice what you are learning. If it is web development, if it is something like C++, you get the opportunity to actually like practice that skill. And another thing which she actually mentioned was that in terms of meeting different people. So like there are a lot of people from different countries like working on the project. And people are always like, I mean, one of the thing which she said is like, when you're working on open source projects, one of the qualities that you need is to be able to like collaborate with people, able to like help people. So like everyone in the open source community, so everyone in the open source community, they are there to actually like help you. So like if you are just joining, they kind of guide you on different stuff. And these people are from like any, like from the biggest tech company that you can imagine, from something like, I mean, something like Apple, something like Google, or those, I mean, the LLVM, like the one of the maintainers of LLVM are developers from Apple's. I mean, I think my contribution in LLVM, the person that was helping me was like someone from working in Apple. So like you get to like meet get, and I think the mentor for Priyanshi mentor was from was he ARM 64 or something like that. So ARM 64 is, they're like company that actually like created some hardwares or something like for computers. So you get to meet like a lot of people, and they kind of mentor you for free. So like, I mean, so you get to like be able to like to work on your skill, to be able to practice your skill. Then another thing which you actually get is the ability to actually like, network with, get mentored by like different engineers from anywhere in the world, from the biggest tech company that you can imagine. Because we also understand that like all these big tech companies, they are using this open source project, something like LLVM. So LLVM is like one of the biggest open source projects. So like all these big tech companies, they are using this open source project. So they kind of pay their engineers. So like something like Apple is using Clang, which is like part of LLVM for their all these Swift and stuff like that. So they kind of pay Apple engineers to work on this. So if you are coming into open source, so you kind of get the opportunity to be mentored by those people. So those are like some of the opportunities of open source. So like Priyanshi, coming to outreachy, like, I mean, there are a lot of programs as we were talking about before earlier. So coming to outreachy, apart from the all the benefit that I mean, coming to outreachy, can you just explain, give us like some overview of like how do you get into outreachy, like what is the process for getting selected for outreachy? And apart from the fact that you probably like get to like learn from developers or some other, or get to like work on your skill. So like, what do you also get from outreachy? I personally know that outreachy pays, and there are a lot of them that pays. So I mean, so I don't know if you get my question.
Yeah, sure. So, like its process starts from January itself. So, from January to February, we need to fill its initial application. Basically, Outreach supports some people who are underrepresented or who got deprived of opportunities somewhere because of their gender, their color, or anything else. So basically, Outreach supports those kind of people. So in the initial application, we need to answer some basic gender questions like if you face any kind of discrimination at your workplace. So these kind of questions were there in the initial application. So till February, we need to fill that initial application, and then around March, the results of initial applications were out, and we were given 1 month to contribute to the project according to our tech stack, and after that 1 month, we need to fill the final application. So in that 1 month, I was so much jumbled that on which project I need to contribute, like on web development or something related to C++. So I was too much jumbled during that duration. So I started with LAVM, which was based on C++, and I also took a development project which was related to my tech stack. But I didn't contribute that much to the development project because there was too much people in that project, honestly speaking. So I was thinking that there are very less chances of mine because those people were contributing before very months ago. Like I started contributing in March, so they were contributing from January itself. So obviously their chances are high. So and that's why also I gave up on that project and continued the LLM. So after completion of 1 month, we need to fill the final application. So after filling a final application, also you should not give up on that project. You should continue contributing so that it will increase your chance of selecting. Because the mentor can see that you are dedicated to that project and you want to complete that project. So that's why you should not give up on that project after you're completing the application. So then around May, the results of final application were out, and hopefully I got selected. So this was the whole application process of the outreach. So and my learning was that like LLVM is a compiler, and I just saw C++. I was not having any idea of compiler at that time, but I thought that if I know C++ and the required skill is also C++, so definitely I can contribute to that project. My thought process is just that and nothing else. So I just took up that project, set up that project, and started. LLM is not an easy task, as Usman also knows, because he also contributed and we were too much jumbled at that time. So yeah, and I just set up that project, and yeah, also my mentor also to help very much. And you should also ask for help in the community, find members on the LinkedIn which you can take help from. Yeah, so I take help from them and then finally set up the project. Literally, LVM took me around 15 to 20 days to just set up the project. So it was a very long process, and then within the 10 days, the remaining 10 days of the month, I just contributed to a very basic issue. And after that 1 month, I was able to contribute to a medium level issue. That's why I was selected. Yeah, so that my learning is that don't give up on a thing if you are not able to do. Just give your best.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think what I understand from what you're saying, so because I don't know if like so what I understand is that so like all these program, so one which is outreachy, there are like many programs like that. There is GSOC. I'll probably like compile some list of these open source program. I will send it to the group. So this open source program uh the first step is always to like you first apply to this open source project. So that was why she said around from January to February, so you submit your application for the open source project. So the first application that you are sorry, for the program, not the open source project. So like the first round, you first submit your application for the program. So that is like from January to February. So in this round, so like the application format, as she said, is basically just asking like general questions like where are you from, like where are you from, all those kind of stuff, like general questions, like I mean, so specifically for outreachy, because one of the aim of outreach is to actually support underrepresented people like in tech. So but like there are some other open source projects, something like GSOC, that is not like the idea, but like but for specifically for outreachy, so they kind of like want to like support underrepresented people in tech. So but like for there are a lot of like many other programs that don't really like it's just general. So like I mean, but like still for outreachy, just apply. Just I mean, just talk about sometimes probably when you don't. I don't know. Like I mean, there are something that you might have faced. Probably like when there is no electricity. I mean, those are like some challenges, or when there is no data or all those kind of stuff. So so in that first round you kind of fill the application about like all those questions. So specifically for outreach, they might ask you about like a story of probably like when you felt some difficulties in tech or something like that. But like for some GSOC and some other open source projects, you don't need that. So they just ask like general questions. Why do you want to participate? And I mean, one of the reasons for participating is to probably like collaborate with people, gain the skill. So like after that round, if you are selected for that round, like so like that round is like the most simplest one. Just fill the form, fill it best. I mean with the best of your knowledge. So after filling the form, you go to the second round. If you are selected for that round, so the second round is what we call a contribution stage, as Priyanshi said. So in that contribution stage, it's I think it's like around 1 month or something like that, 1 to 2 months. So like this is how it is in almost all of the open source projects. If you are applying for sorry all of, almost on the open source program. So if you're applying for Outreach, if you're applying for GSOC or any other open source project, so or any other open source project, so one of the so like the first stage is always to like submit one initial application, which is like filling forms and asking some basic questions. So like the second round is what we call contribution stage. So you kind of like just you set up the project, because so that is why I told you to actually like learn GitHub. Like GitHub is like very very important. So I mean, I've actually like foresee all this, so like I understand all what the program will entail. So that's why I said okay, everyone should get to learn GitHub should have a GitHub account, because you can't do all these things without GitHub. So like in that contribution stage, so you go to the GitHub account. So in the contribution stage, the outreach program, they are going to give you a list of open source projects like LLVM, as you said, and some other projects. So if you're a web developer, you okay, out of the listed projects, you look for like web development projects. So as she said like she was actually like interested in web development project, but like the idea is there are a lot of people also applying. So like many people probably like know web development, or at least like I mean it's there are larger numbers of people that probably like know web development compared to like people that are probably like learn C, so like or C plus plus. So then she took like LLVM, which is like based on C plus plus, and it is quite less competitive. So I mean, it was like probably like three people that was actually active in the C plus plus in the LLVM, if I could remember as at then. So she took C plus plus, which was less competitive, which was like less competitive. So then so like you try to like set up the project on your system, because if you're going to like I mean, if you have learned about how GitHub works, you will understand. So you fork the repository, so you set it up, and as you said, LLVM is like C++ project or C project. They're like one of the craziest open source projects, because like I mean the language itself is like a very hard language. So but like there are a lot of simple projects that you can work on, and the idea is even if you know C, you might not be like the expert in C, but like if you know C, you can work on any C project. Like all these open source projects, they are like for beginners. I was also a beginner. I mean, as at then, I was actually like learning C plus plus in school, in my school during that time, and I'm very sure Priyanshi also like I mean she probably has some knowledge, but like she doesn't have like any experience in C plus plus project before, so you kind of just go there and set up. So like when you get there, so just ask questions about how do you do this, as you said, like you have to like ask questions on how do you do this and stuff like that. So then from in the contribution stage, kind of like look for simple problems that you can solve. So then if you're able to like so like you ask questions, just ask questions. Just understand that in the open source community, people are there to help you. So just ask questions. So after that point, so then they will tell you to like submit some what have you done during the contribution stage. So you kind of like okay, right, okay, I did this, I learned this. So you submit it for a proposal. So if you are selected, I mean Priyanshi, how much for like how much did they pay for like outreach?
Yeah, at in that cohort, outreach selected 63 interns, but on LLVM, I was the only one.
No, 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 I mean like how much did they pay, like amount that the outreach pays?
Pardon? Sorry.
How much did outreach pays, like if you are selected for outreach program, like how much will they give you or something like that?
Like you are asking for duration
No,
of
no,
the.
the amount, the internship fee or the
Okay, you
stipend.
are asking for the stipend.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, it was $7,000. Actually, it's just an accent issue. That's why I'm a little bit unable to understand.
Yeah, I understand. No, I'm also like staying with some Indians here, so I understand. So, I mean, so the amount that, so like from what Priyanshi just said, like outreach pays about $7,000. If you convert $7,000 to Nigerian as at now, it's around like 7 million naira. So if I have 7 million naira in Nigeria, I will just be sleeping every day for the whole duration. I won't do anything. After working on the project like for like one, well, I will just chill. So like it's actually a very cool money. It's a very big money. I mean, you can use it to like you can get something done. If you're having like bad laptop, you can. You can change your laptop. You can get some good internet connections, all those kind of stuff. And the skills that you'll be getting, as Priyanshi said, like if you something like compilers, if you have those things on your CV that you have worked on a compiler stuff. See, out of like the developers, like there is hierarchy to like developers that we have. We have like people that do web development. We have people that do app development. But like at the top echelon, you have people that do compilers and all those C sheets, all those operating systems. They're like the top. So like if you have, even if it is like web development project, I think like there are a lot of companies that do. I mean, these I think Chrome itself, like Chrome, Firefox. Those are like the kind of project that you can work on. Chrome, Firefox. I think Python itself. All these big projects, you can get the opportunity to work on them. Just having it in your CV that you have worked on something like Python programming language or something like Firefox. So it's kind of give you like more stuff like compared to like your if you're applying for a job or something like that. So like if you get $7,000, those are like some stuff that those are like stuff like that. So I hope you get the point. So like the first stage most of the time is just like submit an application. And not even for GSOC, I don't think you need to like submit an initial application or something like that. You just need to like register. So like the main stage is just like the contribution stage where you just go into the community. I think as Priyanshi said, one of the most important thing is joining the community and asking questions. So like let the community know that you are there. So like when the community knows that you are there, so if your mentor, because there's something like we call mentor, so the mentor will be the person to be guiding you during the project. So like during their contribution stage, so let the mentors let them know you. Try to help others also. So when you help others, they kind of know that okay, this person is committed. Because the idea of open source is like open source project is like to show the uh collaboration energy among people is like to ensure that you can work in team to those are like what open source project really means, like collaboration, all those kind of stuff. So I mean so I think I have some questions here also. So Priyanshi, so my next question will be now, like many people are new to like open source, and I'm very sure like probably when you also started you were probably like new. So like how is it like to be a new person in open source? Like what is your own advice? Like you already like give some advice, but like if you can also like talk more on like how does it feel to be a new person in open source, like to try to like contribute? If you look at LLVM is so hard. Priyanshi said like just to set up the project on your laptop. You probably be using months just to set up the project. But like there are some simple projects like that also that you can just set up within 10 minutes or 30 minutes or something like that. So I don't like if you can share some of the challenges that you face when trying to like contribute or when trying to like join open source. Like how does it feel as a beginner? Like and what will be your advice to someone?
Yeah, sure. So it was also my first time to the open source. Before this, I didn't know what is open source and how can I contribute to it. So generally, when a student goes into open source, he came across various difficulties, but also hesitate to ask someone that it might be a silly question, what other thing that I didn't know, these silly things, easy things. I also feel that those same things, but for a newbie to the open source, I would suggest that just don't shy. Ask questions openly, because if you don't ask, then you will not get. You will remain in the confusion for every time. So just ask questions if you are new to open source, and just start contributing to a basic project. And there are also beginner friendly issues, like in the project itself there is a tag beginner friendly. So just use that tag for the basic issues, so that you can first start contributing to a basic issue, then you can move to a higher level issues. Yeah.
Yeah, so like from what I understand from what Priyanshi just said, so like when you start contributing to like open source project as a beginner, so the idea is you shouldn't be shy, just ask questions. So like the first thing that you have to understand that any open source project, they always have a community. So the community might be on Discord, it might be on, most of the time they're always on Discord. Like you just need to like find the link to, and if you just go to like GitHub, if you go to their GitHub repository, you will see like, okay, this is the, I'll probably like show you after the this training. I will show you like some open source projects and how you can, some of the stuff I will show you like after this. So like, so if you go to the project, there is always a community where you can join. So and this community, anyone can join. So if you join this community, if you have any question, if you don't know anything, even if you don't know how to like use GitHub, just but then before going to the advice is, before trying to like start contributing to any open source project, you should learn how to use GitHub. That's just like the basic requirement. I think I sent a video to the group where you can, which the video you can use it to like learn how to use GitHub. Like GitHub is just like very important. I don't know, like very important. You guys will probably like learned along the way like the importance of GitHub. So when you join the community of these GitHub people, sorry, the communities of any open source project that you are joining, say for like Python. So if you are working on Python project, Python is an open source project. Uh so Abdullah, we get we take your question. So just still. So 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 like just join the community, just join the open source community. When you join the open source community, ask questions. If you even just ask, if you feel stuck somewhere, ask. And sometimes there are some questions that you probably like need to Google search before asking. So what, that is one of the skills that you also need to learn as a developer. Always try to like Google search something. Like probably like most of the problem that you are facing now, there is a high percentage, like 100%, that someone already has already faced the same problem. So first search on Google. But if you don't see the question on Google, then feel free to ask on this on this channel. They are always like there to help you. So just feel free, like they're always there to help you. So when you ask, definitely you're going to like someone that's going to answer you. Even at the point, I was so surprised that where are these people, like those people that are answering the question, where are they from? Like don't they have job or something? But one of the things that you should know, that like some of the people working on this open source project, they're actually like paid to work on it. So and they're always, apart from that, some people are working on it for free, like they are not paid at all. But like people understand, like for in open source project, like everyone is like a family. So like they're always there to help you. So don't be shy, always ask questions, give questions and all this kind of stuff. Always ask questions and they always answer you. And another thing which she mentioned, did I forgot? Ask question, don't be shy. Exactly. So another thing which she mentioned was that in every open source project, there are always like some simple tasks that you can do as a beginner. The simple task might just be to replace, probably like there is some errors, like probably like something like, I mean something like in, it might be just be to replace a single word, probably like print. You might just have to like, probably in the spelling of print, they spell it like PRINTT. So the first contribution might just be to like remove that thing, and that is actually like where many people actually started from. I mean, even Priyanshi, I think I saw her first contribution was like probably on some very simple basic level uh contribution. Even me myself, I started like my own first contribution was on this the readme file. So the contribution, I mean, and I've seen a lot of people who have watched a lot of videos, their basic contribution is like on very simple thing, and they actually like, I mean, from very simple things. So like just so there's a tag, as she said, that you can, there's a label that, okay, uh a label on, okay, like this is a simple task that you can, anyone that you can do. So even if you are stuck on that simple task, ask, people will be there to answer you. So people will be there, they will be very like I mean, they will open their hands to answer you all these questions, to answer your doubt and stuff like that. So Priyanshi, another question which I have for you. So is that so so like I mean, how how important is it for students to engage with open source, to engage in open source community, or how can it be, an advantage for something like getting, for someone's career? Like, how is open source an advantage for someone's career or something like that, like as a student or as a developer? Like, how can open source help someone in his or her career or something like that, as a student or just a developer?
Yeah. So open source adds way too much values for a student. Like for basically for like if I talk about my experience, so before contributing to the this project, before getting selected in the outreach, I was very underconfident. I was very shy about asking questions which I don't know. I was very underconfident that I can't do anything. I don't know anything. Like if I know something, but I don't apply my knowledge, then I will not be knowing that yeah, I can do these things with the help of my knowledge. So open source helped me do these things. First of all, it helped me remove my shyness of asking the questions, and it helped me applying my knowledge to some project so that my knowledge can improve some project. So I get to know that yeah, I can also add value to somewhere. That way, that has boosted my confidence. uh, so all these things can add too much values for the student in increasing their confidence. In overall, it will help you increasing your technical knowledge as well as improving as well as developing you personally, or we can say for personal development. Also, open source is a very good program.
Yeah. Priyanshi, following up with that question, do you think open source, like having open source in your CV or resume, or in your portfolio, do you think it actually helps in getting job, in securing job? Like when you submit your resume, do you think it has any benefit?
Yeah, obviously it does. Like if I talk about my resume, after adding the internship of LLVM during outreach, I got directly selected for in NVIDIA's interview. But I refused them because I was already selected for Amazon internship, 6 month internship. That's why I refused to NVIDIA because I am already committed to Amazon right now. So NVIDIA doesn't give me some OE or anything, online assessment or anything, and they directly invited me for the technical interview. So yeah, that adds a really good value in providing you great opportunities at very big companies.
Wow, wow, wow. That is so lovely. That is so lovely. Congratulations for that, Priyanshi. So, so what she basically said right now is that, I think the first what she first mentioned was that, for open source project, it gives you the confidence, because sometimes you might probably like be learning JavaScript or C++ or any languages, but you kind of feel shy, or kind of feel there is this English that they always use, forgotten the English, that you might kind of feel that, you don't know anything or something like that, until you're able to like contribute to a project. When you contribute to that project, I mean, so you feel confidence. I mean, imagine having a contribution in something like LLVM. LLVM is like one of the greatest and one of the hardest and one of the most, and one of the most important projects in tech. Like, apart from the fact that it's an open source project, like, let me tell you, like, which company uses LLVM. Basic, like, almost all company. Like, most of the compilers have, if you are writing a program language, you're writing JavaScript, like, all these, some of the compilers are built using LLVM. So like, if you are writing Swift programming language, if you are writing lot of stuff, you are writing all these JavaScript, all these Python, exactly, even Python, Mojo. So like, these compilers, their compilers are built using LLVM. So if you kind of have a contribution in LLVM and you kind of show it to like the companies that have contributed to this project, even if it's not LLVM. Imagine some big project, something like Linux. Linux is also like Linux kernel is also an open source project. Imagine contributing to Linux kernel. Like Linux kernel, like so like having it in your resume that okay, I've contributed to like, it might not be Linux, it might not be LLVM, it might be any other open source project. But like having that in your resume, it kind of gives you more advantage over any other person. I mean, if you are on the same level, probably you have like the same knowledge, but like you having open source project in addition to your own, in addition to the same level that you guys are, you will definitely. She actually just mentioned that she got the interview in Nvidia. Nvidia is like one of the top, I mean, top company in tech, like one of the biggest top company in tech. Imagine Nvidia giving you an interview and you rejecting Nvidia. That is some top level stuff. So, and as he said, like it is basically due to his, I mean, due to his contribution in LLVM, that because I mean, and probably like, I mean, even I'm very sure like probably like the Amazon folks, they probably like consider that contribution as like one of the reasons for giving her the internship or something like that. So those are the benefits of just, I mean, coming into open source, and I mean, you get the money, you get the skill, you get the confidence, you get it gives you the opportunity to actually like, you know, contribute to, I mean, to get job easily and stuff like that. So it's, see for me personally, I think like me personally, I'm kind of a lazy person, though not really lazy, but like when I come into any field, I kind of look for, okay, what are the ways that I can use, what are the things that I can add that can make my own career be faster than others. Like when others are probably like doing 100%, how can I do like 50% and be ahead of the others that are doing the 100%? Though I'm very sure that for that 50% I have to work hard, but like for instead of, I mean, doing 100%, how can I do like some meaningful stuff? So open source is like one of the way. So if you have like contributions in open source, it kind of move you ahead of other people, because these people that are interviewing you, there are people that are working on this project also. So there are people that know about LLVM open source, there are people that know about Python open source. So if you are getting interview from them, so you kind of discuss, I mean, I imagine someone working on LLVM, if I got an interview, probably the person is interviewing me, imagine if I talk about that, okay, I'm working on LLVM, even them seeing it on your CV or something like that. So those are like the benefit of open source. So Priyanshi,
Yeah.
yeah. So I think I have some like probably like 2 to 3 questions more. Then others, if there are some other students that have questions, they can sorry, like the participants, they can ask you their question. I hope you still have the time.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, thank you very much. Uh my question right now is that, so for like aspiring contributors, people that have not contributed, that they want to start. So do you have any, I mean, can you say there is any resources or platform that you can recommend? I don't know, like, I mean, is there any platform or resources that can be used by these people?
For contributing to the projects.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, or for just getting into open source, or I mean something like that.
Yeah, like for contributing to the projects, I also know about GitHub only.
Hmm.
Where different projects are present, and you can go to any project and start contributing to that one. And if I talk about open source programs, so there one more program I remind, that is Hacktoberfest, which
Hmm.
is also an open source program in
Yeah.
which you get various amazing goodies and stickers
October
after
first.
completing that program.
Hmm.
And yeah, so for contributing to the projects, I guess there is only GitHub. And if you want to contribute to the projects,
Is it my service?
is double associate and outreach.
Priyanshi, we didn't hear you for the last 1 minute. The last
Pardon, which one?
we the last thing that we hear from you is when you were talking about the Acto Is it Octoberfest or something? I don't even know how to pronounce it.
Yeah, Hacktoberfest.
So I think you were saying
You
something.
know,
You were saying something after that.
Hacktoberfest, GSOC,
Yeah,
and
Oktoberfest. Okay.
G double SOC is different and without G. And G double SOC is one more club,
Okay, G. Yeah, I
which
mean,
is Girl Utkut Symbol of Code,
I will just.
and GSOC, Google Symbol of Code.
And I think there is MLH also.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. So thank you for that. So from what Priyanshi just said right now is that, I mean, like the basic requirement is just you having a skill, like something like web development or something like that, and having a GitHub, knowing how to use GitHub. See, that is the reason why I actually said, because many people might probably think, what is the reason for me to say, okay, everyone should have a GitHub account, everyone should know how to use GitHub, because it is just like the basic, like the most important, one of the most important skill that you can have as a tech person, whether you are doing data science, you are doing machine learning, you are doing web development, you are doing C++ or anything. It's just the basic level, basic skills that you can need to learn, and you can learn it within 1 hour. I think I said a video of 1 hour 20 minutes or something like that. So as you said, like the basic requirement is just like having a GitHub account and looking for all these open source projects or this program. Just join this program and start. So I think everyone will have after this. I think after this session, everyone will be very eager to start like learning about GitHub. Just learn it tonight. Learn about GitHub tonight. Learn how to use GitHub tonight. You will really like thank yourself. I mean, it's one of the skills that you kind of list in your skill in your CV, like GitHub slash Git. Even some I mean some companies, I mean all of the companies, they will require you to like have GitHub account. So or not like use Git slash GitHub. So I think Git is also like an open source project also, like it's an open source project, so you can also look into that. Thank you Priyanshi for that. So so I think my last question, I think I also have like a personal question, like my own inside question. Priyanshi, I think we can't hear you. Can you hear us?
yeah, like now I
Okay.
can hear.
Okay. So I'm sorry. I think I almost asked all the questions. Job market. Uh, the okay. I mean, there's this question here that what I'll be asked. There's two questions, so I'll just ask the two questions together. I'll just ask the two questions together. So the first one is that like what would be your advice on where is the question again? I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Priyanshi. I'm sorry, the
No problem.
participants.
No, no problem.
Sometimes my brain do stop sometimes, so I saw the question earlier. So let me just ask the first question. So let me just ask this one. So like when you were trying to like contribute to like LLVM or something like that, uh, is there any time that I know you faced like a lot of challenges? Like how did you overcome those challenges? Like how did you navigate all these challenges that you probably like face and stuff like that? And another question is, I don't know if during the contribution stage, I think you were probably in session, like you were not, it was not during holiday, it was during school time. So like how were you able to like manage your time, and those challenges that you face, how were you able to like overcome them?
Yeah, like when I came across any difficulties which I already, because too much every day there, every time there is a error in that project, setting up that project or solving issue in that project. So basically, first of all, I try to understand what is that error about, from where that error is related to, and why that error is occurring. So first of all, I try to understand the depth of that error. But if still after doing research on that error, I'm unable to solve, then I will seek help from others, like from community members. Like first of all, I just post the basic. Like if I am not getting some knowledge related to that error, then I try to gain that knowledge from community members, from mentor. But if still that knowledge is not working to solve the error, then I try asking that exact error from the community members. But obviously, someone will not exactly tell you the solution that do this and this will solve your error. Someone will not do this in open source or anywhere. Someone will not grab your hand and then do everything for you. Nowhere is this system. Someone can only tell you the way how you can navigate through the error. So if I am not able to solve the error, then I tell exactly error to the members. Then they will tell me the way that you can navigate to this. You can go to that part of the documentation, or you can try these things. So after trying those ways, most of the times my error got resolved. But even if after that my error not resolved, like if I need to show that error to someone, yeah, then like LLVM has its office hours in which their community members are on Google Meet and are ready to help others. I guess Usman also joined one office hours. We were in both same office hours and asking someone for the help. So yeah, I joined that office hours as well for solving the errors. Yeah, so just like for solving the errors, first you have to understand that uh, error by yourself. Even after that, you are not able to solve. Then ask help from community members or mentors, or even if you're not getting, then try to ask from more members on LinkedIn. Yeah, because there is plenty of members present everywhere to help you. But it's the only thing that you need to ask the correct question at the correct time. And talking about my time management, yeah, at that time I was in my sixth semester and my college was also going. And in my seventh semester, my placements were also coming. So, yeah, I was also very confused that I should do DSA, I should prepare for my placements at that time, or I should contribute to that project. Because that time was very precious for me, because if in that time I will not prepare for placements, then it will create a very big problem in my seventh semester. But I also think that if God gave me that opportunity, then I should not just let it go, that I can't do, I can't manage time, and I need to do this. So I'm not grabbing that opportunity. So I don't do that thing. I try to manage my time, like if I am giving my daytime to the project, so I will be giving my some night hours to the placement preparation. So it's just that don't give excuses that I can't do this thing because I have to do this. Just try to manage your time in slots, or try to do all the things. Like just start, and it will all start managing by themselves. Yeah.
Wow, wow, wow. That is so lovely to hear. So, I mean, from what I understand, I mean, everyone have probably like understand it also. So, like, so she basically said, I mean, what I understand. So, like, even like because in open source stuff, in open source project, when you're working on open source project, especially something like LLVM, any open source project, you definitely face issues, you face problems. So sometimes when you face these issues, as you said, the first thing is to probably understand what is the issue, what are you facing, why are you facing it, trying to like understand what is the problem, and trying to like try out something. So when after trying out these things, after trying to like understand what the problem is, after trying to like solve the problem, if you are still not able to solve it, then you have like pools of communities, like you have these community people to ask these questions. So you can then ask them questions that I face this problem, I face this problem, how can I solve it? How can I solve it? They will definitely help you. And she was talking about something like office hours. So office hours in open source, what they actually means like all this like this open source is just like very interesting stuff. In every open source project, something like LLVM, even Python, because currently I'm trying to like contribute to like I was contributing to Python documentation. In all these open source opportunities, they always have something we call office hours. Like this, they will create an office hours. It might be on Google Meet, it might be on different platforms, it might be on Zoom. So you kind of join the meeting and you kind of ask questions directly face to face with engineers. Like these are like the top engineers from anywhere that you can imagine in the big tech space. Like that is one of the opportunity in working in open source project. Like you can from your room in Nigeria or in any African country or anywhere in the world, you can get to meet like you can get to talk to any engineers from anywhere, like from Apple, from so like in this office hours you kind of join so you kind of but the most the most important thing, as she said, the most important thing in this open source stuff is that you must have tried out something. If you have any problem, try to like see how you can use solve it. So if you don't know how to solve it, you ask questions from the community. So if you don't know so if definitely you see someone that will definitely know the answer in the community. So if you are not able to solve it through that, so you can also join office hours. In this office hours, like developers, like as I said earlier and as she said, these developers, they will be there to answer your questions. So you can, I mean, even sometimes these developers, they kind of show you, they kind of code in your front, like they kind of guide you through, like, okay, do this, try out this, try this out, try this out, try this out. Like by the time that you do all those things, you'll be able to like solve any issue that you are facing. So I mean, that is just like anything that you can um and as you said regarding time management, you just have to manage your time. That is just it. I mean, you just have to do everything. I mean, see, for me personally, and for her, she probably like does a lot of stuff. She have like solved 600, I think, is it 1600, okay, probably like 600 plus lead code questions. If you have been able to like solve 600 plus lead code questions, you are some DSA gurus. So, and she's like web developer, she's a student. Imagine combining all those things together. Even me personally, I'm combining a lot of stuff together. So the idea is just do the stuff, just go on and do it. So that's how to like manage your time. I mean, sometimes just know that okay, you have to get this done and just get it done. So that is just that. So Priyanshi, uh, I think my own question which actually comes to my mind right now is that during your placement, during when you were applying for placement, do you think open source really help you compared to like DSA? I know like DSA is like very important. I mean, you need to like know DSA. So, but like this open source, do you think it actually like has like give you like more opportunity, like, or is it like probably like more important than the DSA itself in the in the project, or in your placement or looking for internship?
Yeah, like you are asking that does open source adds values in placements?
Exactly, like, oh, yeah. Then I don't know if it does it have value than DSA also. Just
Yeah,
ask.
DSA adds values in placements because I don't know what is the placement criteria there, but in India, DSA is the most important thing for placements. DSA is basically the questions where test our logic building and problem solving skills, so which is very important in placements. But yeah, open source also adds value in the very first step, which is resume shortlisting itself. So if your resume is good itself, then it will only then it will get shortlisted. So open source adds value, and as open source helps you developing your skills, technical skills and personal skills, so it will add values in the interview as well. Like it already had increased your speaking skills, vocabulary, communication. So a better communication in interview obviously makes an interview great. So yeah, open source adds value in resume shortlisting and in interview as well.
Wow, wow, wow. Wow, makes sense, makes sense. Uh, so uh uh last my own last question right now is that it's like a personal question. Priyanshi, I don't know if I think I'll probably be applying for LLVM the coming sorry, like outreach the next the coming one probably like December. I think it's the application is coming out by December or January. So I don't know, like by then, probably when I'm about to write my proposal, if you can probably like share your proposal with me. That is like by then. I don't know if it's possible. That's my own personal question to you.
Oh, pardon, I didn't get what you are asking.
So like what I'm asking is that I will be applying for outreach in the coming one, probably for LLVM
Mm-hmm.
also. I'll probably be working on LLVM or some other project, but like I think LLVM is quite, despite the fact that it is hard, that hardness make people not like want to like contribute because it is hard. So I'll probably be working on that. So I don't know, like by then, if possible, if you can share I mean like to me like your proposal or something like that by then. I don't know.
Yeah, like you are asking that am I applying for the
No,
outreach
no, no, no,
again?
no. I'm asking if you can share your. I'm saying I personally will be applying. So I'm now asking if you can share your proposal to me personally. Like like we always write some proposal like that.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you may, but you may if the project is same, if it is ARM64 itself,
No, no, I'm not
and
going
but
to. I'm not going to use yours, of course. Like, but like just like get the idea of how. I mean, that's like a successful proposal. So like how to structure my own proposal to like you get the point.
yeah, yeah, sure, you can take the idea from my structure, and that's quite okay. Everyone does that. I have also asked my mentor that how can I write the proposal because ARM64 was the back end of the LLVM, and and understanding the back end at the initial stage was very tough. So during the contribution stage, I just contributed to the front end. So obviously, I was not familiar like how to write proposal for the backend. So
Yeah.
I asked my mentor itself. So yeah, it's quite fine that you can take idea from my structure.
Yeah. So we talk personally. So thank you for your time. Thank you for your time, and I hope probably like people have actually like learned. So if there is anyone that have like any question, you can just ask. So if there is anyone that have any question before Priyanshi will leave, is there any question? I'm not really sure. I'm, I think there is no question.
Okay, good evening.
Good evening, Rufai. How are you doing?
I'm fine.
Yeah, go
How's
on. Go.
everything? Okay, just like a beginner like us or intermediary like us who wants to grow in software engineering, in order to fill the gap. So, is there a way maybe the speaker for today can link us to an opportunity where we can actually bridge the gap maybe between the skill we are having before and the ICT skills so that we can be competitive in the global market.
So, in terms of opportunity, what do you mean? I mean, is it in terms of how to like improve your skill? I mean, like one of the opportunity, as you said right now, is like outreach, which is like one of the way that you can, I mean, bridge some of the gaps. And so I don't know if it is it in terms of uh where you can see, is it in terms of where you can learn, or in terms of, I mean, is there any specific to that?
Yes, maybe like we are looking like me personally, I'm looking for a way I can maybe have a link to this outreach and other community like that where I can excel in my skill. So if there is any opportunity even beside this outreach,
Outreach.
maybe she has talked about,
Hmm.
yes, I will appreciate if she can expose us to it.
Yeah, I think I'll probably be doing the job for her. So I will definitely share like the links. I will try and collate the links of some of even outreachy and some others some other open source stuff and some other opportunity which I can find. So I'll just collate it together and send it to the group. So
Okay. Do you really think maybe this outreach is good for a beginner or
of
an intermediary like us?
of course it's good for of course. I mean, as she said, yeah, like she probably I just start that was her first time contributing to open source. That was also my own first time contributing to open source. Like it was, I mean, Priyansh, I don't know if you have something to like say regarding that. If you understand what he said.
Yeah, like outreach is for everyone, whether for beginner, for whether for mediocre, for or whether for advanced. Everyone can contribute because there are every kind of projects present for beginners as well and for mediocres as well. Advanced projects are also there in the outreach. So anyone can contribute and improve their skill. And if I talk about like from where one a beginner can go and improve their skills, so you can just go to GitHub and select some project according to the skill on which you want to improve yourself and start contributing on that project. That will help you a lot.
Hmm. Wow, thank you. So as you said, I think you understand what she said. So like just find go to GitHub. Another way to find open source project is to all these opportunities that we are saying. In their if you go to their website, they always list like lot of project that you can see like on their website. So if you go to the website like GSOC website, so you can see like lot of opportunity, like lot of open source projects. So if you are learning web development, you want to improve your web development skill, so find the web development open source project, start contributing to that, start asking questions, start seeing if you can contribute to that. So like those are like ways of on how to like I mean, and the thing is like everyone can contribute. Like the expert now, they also started from like the simplest thing that you can imagine. Probably like just changing. It might just be like instead of probably like a place where there is no comma or something like that, you removing the comma. So it start from that. So I mean, and it can actually like get bigger for someone. So like I mean, the speaker is an example. Like I mean, apart from the fact that she probably like learned the skill, she also got the money. She also like with that it's also help her with her internship with her placement. And I mean I have seen like a guy that actually like I don't know if Priyanshi knows the guy name is Kunal Kushwaha. So like the guy has actually like the guy also started from like beginner in open source, and right now the guy is just like I mean at a point he got the person got like up to like 90 something or 70 something internship or something like that at a point. So I mean so like but like this is just the starting point. Start small, start anyhow, you will get to that level. I'm also trying to like move to that level. Yeah.
Okay, another question I want to ask, sorry, Usman, when this program is actually coming to an end?
Yeah, it's today actually.
Oh,
It's today actually. So
see.
yeah, I mean it has been a long program, almost 1 month ago.
I've been joining, thinking
Yeah, yeah.
maybe if there is a way you can still extend further, because there are a lot of things. In fact, myself in particular, I've really gained a lot. So, uh, can we have something like maybe a practical class where we can maybe come together, maybe you invite professional like this just to guide us on maybe some of the challenges we are having in our coding life.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we can. I can see if I can look into that. I mean, my exams are coming. I also need to like work on some. I also need to like learn. I mean, it's you get like it's really time consuming actually. Like it's really time consuming and energy and all this kind of stuff. So, but like I mean, we can always connect. You can always like for me personally, you can always like ask me questions. You can always like I mean contact me anytime. I'm always like there to help or something like that. So and if there is a requirement to like get help from someone, we can always get from the person. So I mean I might try to look into that also, but like I'm not really sure. So, but like, if you can ask me question personally, you can like the speakers also like some of them you can go to you can connect with them on LinkedIn or something like that. So, I mean, that's a very good way to. I mean, yeah. So I think we should end it at this point. Potentially probably like I mean, this is already 11 p.m. the night. Uh, Priyanshi, thank you very much. Thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it. Uh,
Thank you very much for inviting me here, and it was nice talking to you, and it was my very great experience for addressing the audience on open source and sharing my journey with you all. Thank
yeah.
you very much for
Thank you very
inviting me
much.
here.
Yeah. See you, Priyanshi. Thank you.
Thank you.